Okay, everyone, we're going to get this started in just a couple of minutes. And what I want you to do while we're waiting for the intro is we're going to talk about oneness. We're going to do live readings, but we're going to talk about oneness. Okay, everybody knows about the one soul and the collective team and everything else, but this is a different take on it that I have just received recently, a download, and that's going to come up next. Is everyone ready to talk about oneness? I'm going to get our Instagram people on board here. And there we go. And we're going to talk about that. The oneness is extremely important. We are going through a very, very turning point, a turning curve right now in the world. And there are a few of the continents or countries that are going to start exhibiting this and feeling this on a very deep level. Now, last week, I'd already spoken to you guys about the tsunami, which literally just popped in my head as I was doing a live reading. And Spirit had given me that message around the tsunami. Hey, and I want you to prepare for some questions. We're going to add some questions and we're going to talk about you after I talk about my collective. Source has given me this message on oneness and why it's important and why you need to know for your life. Literally, this is going to save our lives. I know this sounds really dramatic and traumatic, but it's not. Okay, it's really quite simple. And about half of the world knows how to do this. And we don't. And who is that half of the world? And why don't we know how to do it? Right? What have we done wrong? What have we missed? What are we bypassing that doesn't allow us this superpower of oneness that half the world knows how to do? And they're not sharing it with us. And I'll tell you why. They're not sharing it with us. And it's not out of greed. I can guarantee that. Okay. It's definitely not out of greed. Now, if you go to my medium.com, HollyHall.medium.com, and that's where I write a lot of my stories, but I often put them in YouTube as well. So first, I want to take this time. If you're on YouTube, okay, I want you to subscribe so that you get notifications and like. It really helps me out. Okay, so like, subscribe. And we're definitely gonna get there. Now, I don't know how you guys are feeling, but there's a really heavy energy the last couple of days. And this is there is something that shifted when we had the full moon, and also we're at the tail end of our Venus in retrograde. And there's a reason why we're feeling this shift. And it's not just about the stars, and it's not just about the moon. We're also talking about a magnetic shift, a magnetic pull, and we're all contributing to that magnetic energy that's around the planet. As I said to you guys many times before, you know, I'm a bit of a scientist, a skeptic, and a pseudoscientist as well, right? So I do like to combine all three. Now, scientifically, we have meters. Don't know the name of them, but they meter the magnetic field that is around the Earth. And we all know that the North Pole and the South Pole contribute to this magnetic field. And so what they did was they tested it about 4 hours before 9/11. After, okay, they didn't test it. They went back, you know, a few weeks later, a couple months later, and looked at what was the meter showing 4 hours before 9/11, thinking that this was such a huge world catastrophic, oh my God, catastrophic, I can't even say it, catastrophe on the planet, that everyone was affected by it. So would it make a change in the electromagnetic field? Actually, it wasn't 4 hours. I apologize. They wanted to see if at the moment that everyone knew the news. And what it was 4 hours before everybody knew the news, the electromagnetic field was drastically changed by like 7 points, okay, higher. And they are already saying that it's shifting anyways. The poles are shifting, magnetic field is shifting, and that's been happening for a while. Very, very slight amount. Now, migratory animals, reptiles, birds, right? Certain types of animals have a crystal called a magnetite. And this crystal helps them know what due north is. And it allows them to be able to migrate where they're supposed to go, navigate from this crystallite that is in them. Now, they have recently discovered, and you can Google this, that we have one and it's right here. Okay, how close to the third eye is that? It's right there on that bridge point of your nose. Okay, right where about the pituitary gland would be, which is also coincidentally the third eye. All right, now we are feeling this shift right now. We had that tsunami on Saturday, which I predicted Friday morning before I think even the volcano went off in the ocean. That's a whole nother topic. And so we are starting to feel this shift. We are in a do or die situation. And I don't want to spread gloom and doom, because I am an optimist and I believe that we can make this. I had a dream about it about 10 years ago. Okay, a very profound prophetic dream. And I know that we are going to make this. As a oneness, as a collective, you are part of that oneness. And you can, as long as you're alive and breathing, you're a human form of that oneness. When you're not alive and breathing, you're a non-human form of that oneness, but you can't escape it. Okay, the birds can't escape it, the sky can't escape it, the oceans, the earth, the blade of grass, nothing can escape this oneness that we belong to. Now, I'd said to you, and I was going to give you the secret of who on the planet, who are the other half of the people that know about this oneness? Well, I'll tell you, they're not famous. They're not popular. In fact, they're very remote. We hardly know they exist. Sadly, we forget they exist most of the time. And sadly, they have no choice but to collectively work together in order to merely survive, to gather water, to gather food, to hunt, to build huts and homes, right? And who am I talking about? The poorest of the poor in the world. The poorest of the poor in the world. In third world countries, many of them are, right? And us, I don't like to put myself in that pile, but I'm there. Okay, I am not living in a tribe in the Amazon and eating off the land and drinking from the land and surviving from the land. I'm not. I am in an industrial world, is where I live, in a westernized world. And so we are all to contributing. Okay, we're all contributing to this non-oneness. And as we contribute to this non-oneness, this other half of the world suffers because we are taking from their resources that their oneness is able to survive on. So as I'm speaking now, Source is feeding me this information. Okay, I've had a teleprompter right here or an earpiece. That would be Source is now guiding me on exactly what to say so that you understand this. Now, some of you might be saying, okay, Holly, I'm not about to go live in the rainforest, or, in the midst of Africa in a tribe and start to live off the land or off grid. Some people have done it, right? Because they don't want to be tied to that, but they're doing it isolated. They're doing it alone. People that are off grid in Canada, where I am, and other parts of the world, they're pretty much alone. They're not doing this as a community or as a culture or as a tribe. Okay. But when we remember that we are one, then we can rise above the 1.01%, the elite, those that control all of the huge industries, right? Way above. And I'm not talking about the people that own the educational school board in your area. I'm not talking about your prime minister or your president in your country. I'm not talking about the ones that own high-tech laboratories that are making pharmaceuticals. I'm not talking about Amazon. Well, maybe I'm talking about Amazon. But I am talking about a very, 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 very tiny, tiny amount of people who are extremely wealthy, right? That are guiding us, luring us, right? Baiting us every day to want, need, desire, to soothe our discomfort. And most of our discomfort comes from what we desire, what we think we need and we don't have. I'm guilty. Okay. I'm guilty of this as well. Awareness is key. Now, some of you, we're going to do live readings. Ask HollyHall.com. You can do mini readings there. And what I want you to do, what I want you to do is put your birth date and your year and your question all in one line. Okay. Your birth date, your year, and your question all in one line. And please don't use 09, 02, 04. I need you to do September, February, April. Okay, I need you to put the alphabetical month and not the numerical month. I had a client ask me about death because she obsesses about death every single day. And I'm not talking about a family member or a friend. So if you're out there and you think I'm talking about you, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a real client. Okay. And she really did say, why do I obsess about death ever since I was a kid? I can't remember. I think she's in her 40s. And of course, Spirit Source answered me right then and there and said, we obsess about death because we obsess about living. We obsess about living. And I'm not talking about what the Amazonians would do, like food, water, and clothing, which they really don't wear a lot of, don't have to, or housing. I'm talking about, because that is what our basic needs are. That's our basic desire for survival, right? But us humans, we in the Western industrialized world, seems to be more than that. It's our mental health. It's our physical health. It's our social well-being, our social status, right? And because we obsess about living, we obsess about the ending of that. It's very much like when you want to make a lot of money, but as you make more money, it's not enough. You need more because there's an insecurity that you could lose it, right? That you could be a death to the stream of income or stream of money coming in. Then the next one that I got this one a long time ago, is that they giggle at us up there. They laugh at us up there. They just think it's just hilarious that we run away from death so drastically. How much we do, how much we everything that we do to try not to look like death has warmed over us. Right? So that's the beauty industry. And so that we and distractions to avoid thinking about it or contemplating on it. I'm not talking about all of those people that are eating really healthy and eating as local as possible, right? I know that we all try to do that. So, and oh, Karen, you started writing again. Yeah, she was a client of mine. The other one, which I got with a client of mine that obsessed about death, was that they said it's just like going to sleep and waking up. Death is just like going to sleep and waking up again. And this is a cycle, just like every night we go to sleep and we wake up. We believe, and that is a portion of it, that it is to recharge our body, to recharge our batteries and all of our cells and everything in our mind and give it rest. But it's also so that we emulate a type of death. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure goes down, right? All these things slow down, hopefully. Now, somebody else also asked me, what if I lack sleep? Now, for the most part, I have never had struggle falling asleep. Falling asleep is can be because I can't turn my brain off. So I have these rituals that I do even throughout the night, listening to meditations, listening to podcasts, listening to certain things that help me charge up one of my things. But once I'm asleep, I don't have a problem. I can sleep 8-9 hours easy. Once I'm asleep, I don't have to worry about it. So, but a lot of people do. My husband's one of them, has insomnia. And this is hard, makes it really difficult to be able to get into your REM, right? So, but is it, now I will tell you, and we all have to take a look at this. Yeah, you can give me your son's birthday. Absolutely. Give me anybody's birthday. What I want all of you to consider is that how much do you fear death? So when I was in my late 20s, I went into a semi-comatose state, and I was semi-comatose is different than full comatose. Semi-comatose is that in my particular case was all my body functions, like being able to talk, communicate, move, tell my arm to move, nothing would work. My brain but I was aware, I was semi-aware of what was going on around me. It wasn't for a long time. It was off and on for about a week. It was really bad the 48 hours prior to the hospitalization. But that created a PTSD for me. Okay. And that's when I started having problems falling asleep. I also became extremely sensitive to drugs. So there was no pharmaceutical drugs that they could give me to induce sleep. It would give me a panic attack. Trying to fall asleep would give me a panic attack because I had the same feeling. It was in between being awake and being asleep. That lucid stage where you're just like, I would, and I would alert back up again, and I would get terrified during that time. Now I don't have that problem now. I really worked hard on it. I did love the lucid state in the morning as I was waking, coming out of sleep. Just didn't like the going into sleep. So many of you may have a similar, some of it, I do past life regression hypnosis therapy with my clients. Some of it's past life, right? Where it was a tragic death. So when spirit says to me, it's like falling asleep and waking up, I'm like, yeah, you tell most of my humans that, because there's a lot of suffering before most deaths. Not all deaths, but most, right? Some of us just done. The other thing is our death is, now this is the source, this is what I got from source. Just like our birth is predetermined, even though some of our parents may argue that, just like our birth is predetermined, our death is predetermined as well. And this is why sometimes we can see people treat their bodies like complete crap or do death-defying acts in their life, and they're fine. They live through it. Right? Now, I'm not saying treat your body like crap, because when you're living, you want to be living, right? You don't want to be on death's door for 10 years or 20 years. And you don't want to harm other people. And a lot of addictions can harm the people that you love as well. So we are going to get heavy, heavy, heavy into the readings right now. And I've got one on Instagram. I'm going to jump on right away. I want to see if there's, oh, Yana. Hi, Yana. I haven't seen you in a while. Wondering if there's pregnancy, and that is July 21. I have another pregnancy one I have to look up as well. I got asked off air. So she's July 20th, 21st. And if you have your time of birth, especially for things like pregnancy, that's really important. Moves, when I'm going to move, when's the time for me to sell my house, all this stuff is really important. And if you live outside of Canada or the United States, then I would like the country as well. But I can't do that for you, Yana, right now. I'm just going to look up what you've given me. And because the neat thing is I can tell your Czech Republic 2020. All right. Were you on last week? Cool. And check. So I heard that the Czech Republic stopped their mandates. I'm curious, coming from someone who I think is living there now or probably has relatives living there. Whenever I hear news like that, I don't watch the news, but my clients will share sometimes with me stuff. Then I have people all over the world. So then I reach out straight to them to see what's going on. Okay, I changed everything for you. So there's going to be difficulties having a baby this year, okay? But it doesn't mean that you can't have one without medical assistance. And I think this is what you may be asking me, and you haven't quite shared the full Monty of the situation. So there will be a need for medical intervention, medical assistance, and when you do, then that will take place during, and I'd like your confirmation on that, Yana. She's in my Instagram. And that's going to begin in and around May and June of 2022. And then also all the way into December and January of 2023. And okay, so she said yes, it does need some medical assistance because she had her tubes tied, so she needs to untie them. So that is a surgical procedure and not always guaranteed. So I think your best timing for that would be the beginning of 2023. If you do that during this year, there can be some minor complications such as not kind of inflammatory type of situations, okay? If you can do it after July, between August, okay, I'm going to pinpoint it correctly, between August and November, that's optimum for you to have that done. And specifically when, so after that, yes, there is a strong possibility of another child. Now, it does show already in the 5th house of children, one birth. It is in the sign of the twins, Gemini. I don't know if I'm remembering if you're the right one, but I think you already do have twins. But, and there isn't another, anything else in the chart for any more children. However, that doesn't mean that we can't defy destiny or fate. I believe in that. I have nothing in my 5th house, and I was told I wouldn't have children, and I did at the age of 35. Lots of medical intervention, but ended up having it naturally when I gave up. And yeah, she has twin boys. Okay, so now let's take a look at some other questions here. I like to go in order. Okay, I feel quite silent, feeling like a stillness before a storm. Inez says, hi, Anna. Nice to see you too. I feel heavy, dense energy, but also an element of excitement and possibility. I feel the same. And Karen said she started writing again. Thank goodness. You know, my job is to bridge a connection between your soul to support your human nature. Okay, so in our humanness, we forget our soul's destiny. We forget our soul connection, that oneness. We forget that. And as we forget it, we've disabled a superpower that is always there with us, but we choose not to engage it because we become too human, we become too dense. And I don't mean dense like the, right? Dense means, you know, a density, a thickness to it. And our humanness becomes very dense with all of the existence around us. And then we have gifts. And with Karen, I spoke to her about gifts of that she has. And if we don't express those gifts, and I'm telling you, don't think about, well, I'm never going to be Oprah. I'm never going to be Dr. Shefali. I'm never going to be Tony Robbins. Screw that. Okay. Literally. Come on, people. Like, I'm going to come up there and slap you up against the side of the head like a true European. Because if I'm going to name some historical people, Jesus, Buddha, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, the Dalai Lama, historically, they're poor as church mouse. They had nowhere to live. They barely had food. They only had the clothes that was on their back. They had sandals. They walked on barefoot. They didn't have, and they weren't famous all over the world. Most of them weren't even famous until after they were dead. Okay, so this is something that you have to, but they still shared their gifts and they had to. They had a mission, they had a destiny. They could not live without it. Just like mine here, right? I don't have 100 people in this room right now. I don't have 100,000 people, but I have to do this. I'm busy every day with my readings. This is the people who are meant that these are my students, or these are my proteges, or these are my healers that I'm to heal as well, or help them find their path, right? Karen says, okay, this is weird because I'm writing about death and I just started this new theme in the book. Yeah. Yep. Well, what is that telling you, Karen? Right? That's telling you you're doing what you're supposed to be doing because you crossed my stream right now. So you received the message that you needed to receive. So now we're going to look at November 15th. And you want to know, why does he have trouble falling asleep? Well, one is fear right away. Okay. And there is this obsessiveness for him to need sleep because it's being suggested to him that that's an important part of life. 2012. And so he wants to please, right? 2012. So we have an 9-year-old, maybe 10-year-old. 10, 9, yep. And also, he's a night owl. Okay. Now, I haven't pulled up his chart yet. I want to do that now so that I can get an astrological reading on this. Right. So he's a people pleaser. His mind is, he's extremely intelligent. Okay. He's extremely intelligent. This is a guy who's, even though he may not communicate as quickly as he as he is. And he's a real kind of a people watcher, because he likes to see what motivates people. He likes to shock people just to see what makes them tick, so he can get sort of under their skin. So he kind of has an upper hand of what your buttons are to be pushed. However, other than that, a lot has to do with him holding in a lot of resentment and anger. And much of that has to do with not having his own choice. Things are not fair, as he would say, all the time. So the way that you do this is you inject fairness into your family dynamic. And what I mean by that is, if you have more than one sibling, which I believe you do, Andrea, is that you have 2 or 3 weekly events. One may be takeout dinner, one may be new movie night, one may be family outings, for instance. And you take turns who gets to pick. One may be one child, one may be the other child. A really good idea is a switch. So for 1 month, maybe, or 1 week, one child gets to choose the takeout dinner, the other one chooses the takeout, the dinner, the movie. And the next week, the other one picks a movie, the other one does the takeout dinner, or play a game, whatever, different choices as well. And so they get time to think, they know their choice is coming, and they're going to do something that they're going to enjoy. But also chores. If you instill chores on your children, you swap the chores around, so that not someone's always doing the dishes and someone's not always emptying the dishwasher. So that kind of injects a natural sense of fairness, of balance in their life. Okay. And then he will build up a lot less resentment. He's also going through a very challenging time right now, in which it's called a soul ascension. And they start off challenging, they end up delightful, they end up amazing. It's because it's a broadening of his healing personality around obsessions, mental health, his own state of understanding the functionality of mental health and the mind. And he's starting to understand this, and he'll have a lot of questions, right? But the best way for him, because he's really smart, is to ask him to contribute to the question. So he says, like, why does somebody do this? He's looking for the underlying reason, what motivates somebody to do something, right? So if you say, well, it's just because they're angry, that's not enough for him. But if you say, hey, what do you think? Why do you think he does that? You go, well, I think he does it because at home, I know his dad's like a real mean person, beats him up. And then you're like, oh, how do you know that? Right? Help him to be a detective, because that's what he really likes, to sort of be a detective, sleuth his way through life. So hopefully that helps you out. So January 8, 2015. And we've got a time around 6:13 a.m., which is great. Thank you for that. And what is he feeling? Now I'm going to go energetically on how he is feeling, and then I'm going to look at the chart. So he's upset about how you're upset, or his parents are upset with another sibling. Okay, so there's a dynamic going on in which there is a concentration on another sibling. And this seems to be, he's really dramatizing it. So you guys might think that you're sort of on the down low about this situation, and you're kind of keeping it even keel, but not to him. It's being blown out of proportion in his head. It's creating a strong family dynamic that he is worried about. But instead of worrying or communicating or talking about it, he has detached himself. And this is how he deals with anger, frustration, or even communication around that is he detaches himself. And he'll be dramatic at first, like, stop what you're doing, if he gets really emotional, but then he becomes detached. Then he needs a lot of alone time, and he needs a space around people. Like, he's a Uranian, and Uranians, they need this t-shirt that just says too much peopling. I would give him a t-shirt that says too much peopling. and he can wear it whenever he wants his alone time. This is someone that does really well with an animal, like a cat. He just kind of connects more with the animal world than he does the human world. New soulmate partner. Okay. So hopefully that helps you out. Let's take a look at my mini readings, which are 15-minute mini readings, are perfect in working with children, or understanding a partner, or understanding a boss, or understanding your own childhood. Just for 3 or 4 questions, 15-minute mini readings are perfect. A lot of people think that and that's when you can book one. I have it to you within the next 48 hours, and I record the reading and then send it off to you in your inbox. And it's me talking, just me, for 15 minutes about you. So that's totally cool. So Karen, June 12th. And AskHollyHall.com is where you can go and get those. So we got June 12th. Let's see if we have a time, 3 a.m. And wondering about my book, of course, and finding our new house. All right. I want to make sure I got that right. Did we get 3 a.m.? I got to do a better job on this. Setting it up so I can see 2 or 3 things at the same time. Need 2 or 3 computers, maybe. No. One's enough. I'm already addicted to one. Okay, so you've literally just come to terms with showing people a new version of you, which is, I'm a writer. I'm going to become a writer. I have a writer inside of me that is bursting to come out. So literally just recently, you've shared this knowledge. So now people see you as a writer. Okay, you may not think that, but you let them know. So it's happening. Also, during the next, let me see when Nicole ends. I just want to make sure. So up until January of 2023, you will have some confusion about, what am I going to write about? How am I going to write it? How does this look? Emotionally, you're going to get really caught up in the perfectionism of it, and the plan and the planning, right? And what it's asking you to do is to let go of a block of over planning and over perfectionism and over critiquing and having everything in a certain order. It wants you to use more of your intuition and to flow from spirit, to flow from source, right? And best way to do that to practice that is automatic writing. Automatic writing, what you do is you have your paper, okay? And so you have your paper like on your table over here, and you're looking straight ahead. So I can see my hand here in my peripheral vision. And I can see that I'm writing on the paper in my peripheral vision, but I can't see exactly what I'm writing. This is my type that I do, and so that I've designed. And then you just do one word at a time. One word, one word, one word. Okay, one word, one word, one word, one word. You don't think of the word before. This is going to be a hard one for you, Karen. And you don't think of the word after. Just one word, one word, one word, one word. And believe it or not, as much as it doesn't make a hell of a feels like you're writing a hell of a mess down. When you read it, it's cryptic, but you'll be able to decipher this means something, right? And that doesn't mean that that's your book. And this is how you practice intuitive writing. Okay? This is how you open up the crown chakra for writers. Okay? And also you asked about moving. That won't be until 2023. But you'll know, because you're going to take a while before, because you're not sure where you want to move. But you know the dream area, the dream situation. And so that move, I think I already answered this for you in a reading. You're testing me to see if I have the same reading. So I'm going back here. You know exactly in April and May where you want to move. There's going to be, it's just not all going to completely come together. Part of it's going to come together in that time frame, as well as in the time frame of April, May, but it's really going to culminate and manifest 100%. And as I said, there's 2 places, 2 locations of moving, some investment as well involved, real estate investment that you're going to be partaking in. And that's also all comes together February, March of 2023. So now we're going to look at the air travel restrictions. I'd like to think it's going to end for everyone. So many of my friends who desperately want to travel in currently, because currently in Canada, if you want to YouTube it, there's a huge protest going on with the truckers all driving to Ottawa, over 200,000 of them, I believe. But I'm going to go with my original date that I had said, which was which was May. Okay. And that's when I also, if you look at my writings or my YouTube on Aries and Pisces and Jupiter, that's my prediction of this going on around. So right now we're in a place, it's in Pisces. So we're in this, and everything, a couple planets retrograde. So we're in this place of oppression. So and I predicted that right now we would be in such a place of oppression collectively, and this is United States as well too, it's the whole world really, that most of us are going to play victim to this. And we're going to feel that we've got no choice. What can I do? There's nothing I can do. Nothing's going to happen. And then when Jupiter goes into Aries in mid-May, then that's when all of the protesting is going to go on around the world. Around, like everywhere around the world. So even though there's some now, possibly this is the lead up to it. So take a look at May. Now, synchronicities. Yeah. He has a sibling that do not live here. Great. It's just him, myself, and my husband. Find out what's going on with that other sibling. He gets a lot of choices on almost everything. So I'm a little confused, but you did describe his personality well. Oh, crap. We'll talk to him like he's grown up. Okay, so Well, yeah, sounds like he's a little bit like you. And Wafa says that's spot on. And I'm finally catching you live, June 12th. I'm a day after that person, LOL. Okay, I don't know what that person is, and you do have to put your year in there, or I cannot help you. Thanks, Cassandra. She said I look stunning. It's the lighting. It's the lighting. What will my work look like? Not sure if we're supposed to post this. Yeah. Okay, good. So we're going to go to Cassandra, and then we're going to go to Cheryl. And then I'm going to sign off. So we've got June. Oh, the one I just did. Yeah. Yeah. And the timing is 12:41. PM. Okay. So, and what are you asking? Yeah. Okay, no question. I like specific questions because of the nature of lives. It just gets right to the point right away. But I will tell you that you as well are going through a soul rebirth. Not really a soul rebirth, sorry. A letting go of limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And you've been going through this for over a year, and it's over in the end of this year, beginning of next year, and you're more than halfway through. The limiting belief is that money is important, finances are important, and this is not just you. This is a whole family dynamic thing that's going on. The limiting belief that you're an educator and that you are someone who's like a writer and a teacher. Okay, and this writer and this teacher has been shut up for way too long. There's a whole dynamic of people around you that need really serious healing, that might even have addiction issues. You grew up possibly with a mother with addiction issues or depression around that, and you've even oscillated in and out of depression. So it's letting go of, you know what, I got something to say, and I'm going to say it, but I'm going to know when to say it and when not to say it. And this is the big lesson for you in this lifetime. When to speak, when not to speak. When do you know, how do you know your audience? What do you know to do with your audience and say to your audience? You know, it's a lot of ad-libbing, right? But you know exactly, really good actors are great at this. They know exactly, they can read their audience, and they know how to sort of entice the crowd and entertain the crowd. And but finances for you are going to improve drastically, surprisingly, out of the blue opportunity in May and June of this year. So there's another opportunity around that, just in case you miss it, also in November and December. Okay. And then we're going to look at Vera and, no, sorry, I already did Vera. Cheryl, who's born the same day as my daughter. And again, she wants to know about her work. We talk a lot about that, right? We do. Okay, so your work situation is you're still in this magic wand phase, and it's going on until January, the end of December of 2022. So this year, so it's about, you know, but you struggled up until this January with sort of coming out. You too, of coming out of who are you? What do you want to come out as? And it's very eccentric. It's quite different. It's very unique. And it is around trauma and family drama and focusing on that. Now you might say, I got family trauma. I got family drama. I got anger management issues. I'm surrounded with people with anger management issues. How can I help people who have that? It is around that. And there's a speaking engagement that's going to come to you very suddenly and unexpectedly for the fall of 2022. Okay, but are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Okay, but you got to put it out there, right? Will I get into a relationship? This year, and will I be with the person I have feelings for? I don't have your birth date or anything, but I got a no right away. But I did get that somebody else has feelings for you. That's not that person, Brooke. And you're aware of it. Very nice, kind, caring, and a really good true blue friend to you. But you're not interested. So you may need to hook up with this other person in order to realize one last time, why do I keep hooking up with these kind of guys? And then you move. I see you with this other person. I really do. I don't know. It really feels good that way. What the future holds is a general one, but I am going to sign off. I will just answer that one very quickly. I like exact questions. So Rosie, if you could ask an exact, I meant my day job. Your day job. That was your day job I'm talking about. I'm not talking about coaching. So, and Brooke, does that make sense to you? Does that resonate with you? Can you relate to that at all? And yeah, I was meaning your day job. I'm thinking your therapy during the day and the coaching, right? Wasn't talking about the coaching. Okay, so 81. Yeah, so I had asked, somebody just asked me too, is death predetermined? It is, but I don't know it. Nobody knows it. Not supposed to know it. And if somebody says they know it, they're lying to you because nobody knows. And can it change? Can it shift? Can it be altered? Very few, but yes, it can. And it's usually because you're here for a very important mission. Might be small, might be big. And the future is you're just getting through an angry period. All last year, you were so freaking angry. Was not easy for you to express it, though. You are here. There's one child, it shows in your chart, if that's your correct time of birth. I've got you in and around the Eastern Standard Time. So possibly if you're born like the other side of the planet, it might shift for a child, more than one child, but I see one child there. A gift too. This child is a gift for you. And your job situation, if you're in a job situation, you're not getting enough credit or payment, and you're not advocating for it either, which should have happened you're not doing what you love. And this is a soul ascension that you're going through. And so you will be completely changing job, even friends and people that you love that aren't nurturing you or taking care of you. And that's going to, or not serving you. You're serving them too much, really. You've become a servant to them. That will end all throughout this year. And so ending of jobs, possibly ending of relationships, friendships, family members, but all for good. you're actually quite comfortable with it, right? If you can get over that you're not a bad person, if you can get over the self-criticism that you've been struggling with, right? There was nothing you could do about this. This was a problem you could not solve because you're a problem solver. And you've detailed too much in trying to solve the problem, which kind of created this snowball and made things more difficult. You're not growing because you're hanging on to trying to fix the situations, right? But you're pretty much done with that now as we speak. So new job by new year, and it's going to be something you love. You could do it now. It can happen now, right? One of the cycles is very strong for you. In March. So February and March is a really good time to reach out. Don't wait for it to happen to you. Reach out and get it. And put in your application why they need you. Because you're good at what you do. Always good at what you do. You're a perfectionist. Right? Central time. Oh, close enough. Okay, so I have to sign off now. She says, yeah, it makes sense, but not sure who the person is that likes you. Well, it's a male friend that you feel that you hang out with, that you talk to, that might even be a coworker, but it's somebody that you really connect with. You talk to a lot. They make you laugh. This person makes you laugh and just likes you and doesn't speak much of it. So I've got to go. I'm going to be here Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every single Tuesday. This one was impromptu, which happens as well. If you're on YouTube, like the YouTube and subscribe as well, because when you subscribe, you're going to get a notification on your phone that, hey, Holly is alive and this was an unplanned event. Okay. And also, if you like it, it just helps me out a lot. So that would be great. More subscribers and share. If you got friends, if you got relatives that want to have some free readings every Tuesdays, it's guaranteed. Okay. Namaste.